Okay, okay. So, yesterday I put a post up on Facebook asking for word suggestions that I would put, I would improvise a story. And I'm using the term story loosely, but I would improvise a half-assed, ridiculous monologue. And to my pleasantries, to my surprise, to people, goodness, basically, people responded with some more words. So the first word is from my mother, Susan Caulfield. You may also know her as Mike's mom. Also, you would probably less frequently know her as this is Mike's mom. Let's see. Okay. Alright, so taxidermist. My uncle was a taxidermist, and it's kind of weird because most people, they'll go through phases in life where, a lot of girls go through the camera phase where they take a lot of pictures, usually kind of sentimental bullshit, but this is not true of all photographers. Some go on to do really amazing stuff, and some show promise, but let's, be honest. How many girls have stupid Facebook artsy photos? And I hate using the word artsy, because it's technically not even a word, really. But anyway, so my uncle's, he went through a taxidermy phase, and it turned into a lifelong um, devotion he had to this, dying art. But it's weird. The thing that's really kind of creepy about the whole thing, and I don't, he probably wouldn't like it if I associated creepy with taxidermy, even though most people think it is. Thing that was kind of alarming though is when he first decided to get into it, he didn't he didn't really know anything about it, but he heard that there was a guy that lived like two towns over that might be able to help him. So he thought, well, I need to go in with an animal, like I need my first animal to do, and it kept getting put off and put off, when they were going to finally do it, and he in that interim he had been collecting dead animals. And time and time would go by, and it would get worse. So you'd have to get another one, and sometimes there'd be three rotting at a time because he wasn't very cleanly about it. But the thing is, that turned into something kind of special. So even if there are a billion MySpace pictures that are sentimental bullshit, who knows? That might turn into something great. I mean, you never know. Okay, that's taxidermy. What is the next one? This is from a good friend of mine from high school who I recently became a fan of. Sorry, I know that's very rude to be smoking while I'm doing this, but I don't know. I'm sorry. Anyway, Kelly C. Stewart. I don't know why I said the C. I usually would just call her Kelly Stewart. She said tuition for her one word suggestion. So let me think for a sec. I never meant to get into prostitution. I never meant to. That much has to be said from the get go. It kind of happened. I mean, I guess that's sort of the best way to put it. So I'm a college student at the time, and you know, money was an issue. Um, Back in those days, I don't mean to be corny or sort of inflating my own ego or anything, but I was kind of a stud muffin, and there was a series of older women. Um, they were in their mid 70s who I was doing this volunteer work for, where I would go and paint houses. It was a thing for school, and this woman liked me so much, and all her women friends liked me so much that she gave me her card and said, which was kind of funny, an old lady would bust out a card, but to come back and do some more painting. Well, the thing is, I came back a couple times, And it got to be summer, and it got to be really hot out, and my shirt would be off, and they'd make all these remarks, and then one day she didn't have my payment. She said to come back at night, and when I showed up, there were, I guess, there were four women there total, and they sat me down and said, in a very serious tone that they wanted to talk to me about something. And it turned out it was actually a proposition to, um, not, graphically, but they wanted favors of a kind, a naughty kind. So basically, um, that's how I got started in that life, and it was I had to say it was a lot easier and it was a lot more gentle to me than a lot of other people, especially women who go into that profession of prostitution. Um, but the thing is, I actually just went to pay my tuition, and I graduated near the top of my class, not the tippy top of my class, but near the top of my class, and now I'm a doctor. And as a matter of fact, I am a gynecologist. So even though I grew out of it, I still spend a lot of my day looking at the nether regions of a 70-year-old plus woman. Okay, so that's taxidermy. Oh no, I'm sorry. That's not taxidermy. That is, um, yeah, that's tuition. So math is the next one. And it is from Ryan Casey, nice gentleman I met through my little sister. Okay, math. Some people, they'll say they're a genius. They'll say that they are in fact brilliant when they're not. I, on the other hand, actually am brilliant. Um, Only with certain things, and one of those being math. And if you ask me what 2074 times 976 times 13 times 27, I'd be able to tell you the answer. And I know the answer right now, but that would probably be a little cocky for me to actually say it. Eventually got into counting cards. That was, that was where my life took a little bit of a rough turn. Basically, there's a system. It's really, for somebody who's a genius at math, it actually isn't that difficult with the proper amount of training, that is. And the thing is, life was good for a while. And then I made a good amount of money in one night, and I went out partying. And, uh, it was in Atlantic City, which is, meh. But I saw, walking back kind of drunk to my apartment, a man um, accost a woman, um, and there was a physical altercation. There was a lot of screaming and stuff like that, and I got really worried for the woman. But especially in my drunken state, I didn't know what I could do about it. So basically, what happened was I froze, and in the time I froze, something shocking happened. Shocking happened, but it wasn't something that I previously could have predicted. The, the woman pulled a knife out of her bag and slit the throat of the man. And then she looked at me and she said, "Can I help you?" And that was very funny because a minute ago I was going to ask her the same thing. So the next one is from a good friend of mine, Sasmita Sukla, and her word was shrubbery, and I'll see what I can do with that. The other one's kind of hard. So there was a puzzle in the New York Times that was basically somebody took, it wasn't even